Hey, Shalom and Barakathum. All praises be to the Most High God, Yahweh, and His only begotten Son, whose name is Yahweh Shai. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Just wanted to bless the names of the Most High God, Yahweh, and His Son, Yahweh Shai. This is the Brother Sagalah back with a lesson, and I wanted to touch on this term here that you see on the screen, which this term is
Misandry.
Now the term
Misandry.
goes into dislike of or contempt for or ingrained prejudice against men, i.e. the male sex. So this dislike, this disdain for men has been pushed by this culture of misandry and feminism. So the misandrous culture is nearing its end with the fall of the wicked, which is Esau Edom, the so-called white man, the European, the Caucasian today. With his fall and the fall of Babylon the Great, which is America, is going to also be the fall of this matriarchy, this rule of women, and the woman being over the man, which is totally against the order of the Most High. Now, this is from Forbes.com. It says, "No Friends," the title, "in the pipeline. Why 300,000 so-called black women," which these are Israelite women. When brothers say Eve, they're speaking first and foremost dealing with the so-called black woman, which is Eve, or the Israelite woman, which all the other tribes, the nations, and people are underneath her, really. She's the one that is actually, moving a lot of the culture. That's why a lot of them are more educated, as far as Esau's system, that is. And a lot of them have a lot of these big time jobs in corporate positions, running businesses. Like, if you just look at Atlanta in itself, and there's a lot of places around the country like that, where in these big cities, a lot of so-called black women have a lot of influence. So it says 300,000 black women, which are Israelite women, were pushed out of the workforce. So this happened so far now in 2 quarters, the first half of this year of 2025. Over 300,000 black women have lost their jobs. So at this rate, we're looking at, probably close to three quarters of a million people, of black women. Let's say it that way. Now, why is that going on? Well, I did an article on, I did a lesson from an article on my page about 2.5, 3 months ago, and it was titled something along the lines of "What Goes Up Must Come Down," and it was speaking about this very same thing when there was just 100,000 black women, that had lost their jobs in the beginning of the first quarter. So now it's 300,000 at the end of the second quarter, going into the third. It says a recently published MSNBC article made headlines for a shocking stat. Nearly 300,000 black women have exited the American labor force in the last 3 months. The article attributes the mass exodus to reasons like federal job cuts and the dismantling of DEI. Now, the DEI pushes a lot of the Mo agenda, but women are in that as well. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. But it said jobs cuts were federal. So a lot of these big time federal jobs, which employ millions of people, and a lot of black women work in those jobs as well. And then it says, with issues like inflation, student loan debt, and a lot of our women have a lot of student loan debt because they're highly educated in Esau's system. They're the ones that get a lot of the big time degrees, masters, PhD, so on and so forth. Now it goes on to say, and underrepresentation in the growing tech sectors, creating a compounded economic risk for black women. This phenomenon not only hurts black women, but has a ripple effect for the entire U.S. economy, resulting in a loss in the country's GDP, or gross domestic product. A less discussed issue that must be considered is how what is happening is also the cause of a widening, it says, network gap faced by black women. So it's becoming harder for the Israelite woman. Now, this is not a shock to you believing brothers and sisters that are in the faith. This is not a shock. This is not a shocking thing. First and foremost, the men of the Lord have been speaking on this, and the believers are watching everything that's going on and reporting. And those who this is for, they're able to receive the report. Who have believed our report? Well, the believers, the ones that have the eyes to see and ears to hear. Now let's show why this is not shocking in what the scriptures say. This is Jeremiah 31 and verse 22. It says, how long wilt thou go about, O thy backsliding daughter? So thou backsliding daughter, speaking about the daughters of Zion. For the Lord Yahweh have created a new thing in the earth. So we would see this here in the last days. In no time have we seen what we're reading now happen to this magnitude ever on the earth. So that's how we know this is speaking about now. For the Lord Yahweh have created a new thing in the earth, meaning this is by the will of God, the will of the Most High. A woman shall compass a man. So the woman has compassed the man. The women have lapped the man in prominence, in importance on the earth, economically, and in all ways. That's why this culture of misandry and feminism was created, was so that the man would be bypassed by the woman, which once again is against the order of the Most High when you read in 1 Corinthians, the 11th chapter. So the woman has compassed the man. So that's what the scriptures letting us know, that this would go on, and partly because the Israelite man, fell from grace by falling away from the Most High. So now the woman has overtaken the man, which has caused nothing but more chaos. And that's been because of the rule of the wicked. So the fall of the culture of misandry is also coinciding with the fall of Esau. It's going on simultaneously together. Micah 7 and verse 9, it says, I will bear the indignation of the Lord Yahweh. And that's the anger, the righteous anger of the Most High. We have to bear that. We have to eat that. Because I have sinned against him. We have to remember, we ultimately, as the leaders of our nation, starting with the men, the Israelite men, we sinned against the Most High, the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American men. We turned away from our God, our power. So this is punishment until he plead my cause and execute judgment for me, until we get deliverance, right? So this is going to be like this until we get deliverance. But let's keep reading. He will bring me forth to the light, which is the truth, and I shall behold his righteousness. So now returning to the truth is us beginning the process of beholding his righteousness and being more upright in the sight of the Most High by coming back to serving him in spirit and in truth according to his word. Micah 7 and 10, and the point, then she that is mine enemy shall see it. So the Israelite woman is going to see what? Her fall. She's going to see the fall of Esau and her own fall too, her own demise as well. Her fall and Esau's fall is going to be together. Then she that is my enemy, which the majority of our women, the women of our nation, right? The women of the daughters of Zion, the children of Israel, the so-called, once again, Black, Hispanic, and Native American people, are the 12 tribes of Israel that is spoken of in the Bible, according to history, anthropology, and scholarship. It says, in the Bible, most importantly, then she that is mine enemy. So the biggest enemy, the greatest enemy of the Israelite man is Esau. And then secondly, Eve. That's why they're going to fall together. Going back into the garden. They made a pact. They're going to fall together. Then she that is my enemy, so our women by and large are our enemies, shall see it. She's going to see the fall of Esau, which is going to be her fall as well. And shame shall cover her. And that's when shame is going to come upon our women. But right now, they're most proud. Which said unto me, where is the Lord Yahweh thy power? But showing you that they don't believe. It says they taunted me. They taunted us. They don't believe, in the truth. Now, not that there's not women that have not returned. Yeah, that's a very small number. A very minuscule number in comparison to the majority. It's the overwhelming majority is not that fall into this category. They do not believe. They're not going to return. Which said unto me, where is the Lord Yahweh thy power? Mine eyes shall behold her. Now shall she be trodden down as the mire in the street. So she's going to be destroyed. Like waste in the streets for her lack of faith coming against the truth. So the woman compassing the man was only really to her detriment, because the scriptures say she that lives in pleasure is dead while she lives. So now let's continue on to show that. Let's go to the curses of Deuteronomy 28. I don't want to make this lesson too long. I'm going to try to hit the points. Deuteronomy 28 and verse 15. Now the curses, which you brothers and sisters, who are believers, you understand this, but this is a lot of new people. About 60 to 70% are that watch the videos and has been coming onto the page, and many other brother pages, are a lot of people that are newer people when you look at the analytics. So this is the curses for disobedience that would be on God's people, the Most High God Yahweh. Deuteronomy 28:15, it says consequences of disobedience. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord Yahweh thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. So all these curses, and when you read from 16 to 68, which is the end of the chapter, it's nothing but curses. Now let's just go to the curse that we would see today, how we would be able to identify the children of Israel. These curses would be upon the children of Israel. Now let's go down to verse 56 should be. Now this is verse 56. 54 speaks about the man, and it says the same thing about the woman, the Israelite man and the woman. Deuteronomy 28:56, the tender and delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground, for delicateness, it says, and tenderness, her eye shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom. So the women have an evil eye toward the man, and the men have the evil eye toward the woman. So we're speaking about the woman, right? Who it said in Micah 7:10, who she don't believe. She that is my enemy shall see it, and shame shall cover her. Which saith in her heart, where's the Lord Yahweh thy power, right? It says, her eye shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom. So that's why the so-called black man and black woman, right, have that disdain and hatred for each other, because this is a curse from the Most High. And it's nowhere near what it is when you compare it to our people, the Israelites, headed by Judah, Benjamin, Levi, right, the so-called black, West Indian, and Haitian people today. There's no more, clear than with our people. If you're just being honest and just, looking at it objectively and sincerely. It says, her eye shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom, and toward, it says, her son, and toward her daughter. So even the children, and you see that clear today amongst our people. So these are the curses that will be on the Israelites today. So she would have an evil eye. Now that evil eye, let's go here to Isaiah, the 3rd chapter. The evil eye that's there, these are curses the scriptures is telling us. So let's go to Isaiah 3:16. So it says here the title, Judah's women denounce. So let's start with Eve, the so-called black woman. Judah's women denounce. Isaiah 3:16, moreover the Lord Yahweh saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty and walk with stretched forth necks. It says, and wanton eyes walking and missing as they go, and making a tingling with their feet. Therefore the Lord Yahweh shall smite thee, or shall smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, which is a why, starting with Judah, a lot of our women have problems with alopecia and growing their hair. This is what the scriptures is telling you, is letting it be known how this will be an indicator today. Who does this fit, right? Who does this fit, and how clear is it who the daughters of Zion are today that we're speaking about? And the Lord Yahweh will discover their secret parts. Now it goes on to speak about how the Most High would take all the things that our women, that they love and they use to beautify themselves, and you can just read them for yourself. All these things, they're the trend set. This shows who sets the trends right here. When you read from Isaiah 3:19 to the end of the chapter. Now let's get down to the last verse. Isaiah 3:26. It says, and her gates shall lament and mourn, and she being desolate shall sit upon the ground. That's the same thing it said in Micah 7:10. She being desolate, speaking about the Israelite woman. Now let's go over to the next chapter. Isaiah 4:1. It says, a remnant prepared, the title here. Verse 1, Isaiah 4:1. And in that day, after, or as the women fall during the time of Jacob's trouble, and in that day 7 women, a complete number of women, not literally, but a complete number. 7 is often used for completion throughout the scriptures. And in that day 7 women, a complete number of women, shall take hold of one man. And this man that they're going to take hold of, is it going to just be any man? Let's see if that's according to the scriptures. Isaiah 11, or let's 13. Isaiah 13, and should be 12. Isaiah 13:12, it says, I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. So the Most High is in the process of bringing a man, an Israelite man, back to his rightful state, which he's not. A lot of Israelite men today are effeminate, are moles. A lot of them, have not been at the forefront of what it means to be a man. They haven't been righteous men in the sight of the Most High. That is, they've been everything but the sons of God. They don't know who they are, so they're the most destroyed on the earth. Just as our women are the most destroyed of all people on the earth amongst the women. And so it goes hand in hand. Isaiah 4:1. In that day shall 7 women take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. So this is the time of Jacob's trouble that's quickly, and vastly approaching. This is when the women then are going to recognize that they don't have the power that they think they have, when all these programs and all that is about to be gone. The Most High is taking it all away, which is what was Isaiah 3:16 on down was all about. He's about to take all that away. So the warning is going out to those women who would be believers, those that would have faith, those that would be returning into their lots, that will be amongst the saints. This warning is really for them. So let's go on and show more of that warning. I got another one here in Jeremiah, and I want to get Isaiah 32, then close it out. Jeremiah 4 at the end of the chapter. Jeremiah 4 in verse 30, it says, and when thou art spoiled, what wilt thou do? Though thou closest thyself with crimson, and though thou deckest thee with ornaments of gold, though thou rentest thy face with painting, that's what? Makeup. In vain shalt thou make thyself fair. Thy lovers will despise thee. It says they will seek thy life. So all these men have been, pretty much destroyed, pretty much, discarded in the society. All these women that have been out here finessing men, getting them on child support. And the thing about that is, it does take money to take care of a child, and a child needs that, but they need their father. Homes that don't have fathers in it, well, it's staggering in numbers of what happens when a child doesn't have their father, because the father is the one that sets order. Order comes from the father. When you read in the scriptures, the mother destroyed the foundation of the children, but the order is established in the children, the mere, let me say it this way, how I want to say it, the confidence that comes from children, man, male or female, daughter or son. Well, the father instills a lot of that, but the woman, it says, uprooteth the foundation. Now, this says, going back, in vain shalt thou make thyself fair, thy lovers will despise thee, they will seek thy life. So all the things, the wickedness that these women have done is coming back on them. So we're seeing that, but it's going to grow more and more. For I have heard a voice as of a woman in travail, and the anguish is of her that bringeth forth her first child, the voice of the daughter of Zion, that bewaileth herself, that spreadeth her hands, saying, woe is me now, for my soul is weary because of murderers. So now this is coming back in great force to our women to reset the order, because that's been the biggest problem, is that this culture of misandry has gotten out of control, because Esau, Edom, the man of sin, has been at the forefront of pushing it. And that's destroyed our people. That's destroyed our people. Matter of fact, let me get this before I get that. Let's show that real quick. This comes to mind. Isaiah, let's go back to Isaiah, the 3rd chapter. Isaiah 3 in verse 12, it says, as for my people, children are their oppressors and women rule over them. So this is further proof of what Jeremiah 31 and 22 said, where it said the woman can pass the man. As for my people, the children of Israel, children are their oppressors and women rule over them. So the children of fools is Esau, Edom, the man of sin. This is also twofold, because, when Israelite men have children, in this culture, they're the most impacted by that. Financially, economically, so on and so forth. So children become a form of oppression, although this is speaking first and foremost about the man of sin, the children of fools, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, the European, the Caucasian today. Children are their oppressors and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err. The leaders of 2/3 cause our people to err, and destroy the way of thy paths, and they're destroying you. So our people are continually being destroyed by the ways and the culture that has been set up here, which has been nothing but death, the valley of the shadow of death. Let's end it out with this, Isaiah 32, and I'll start here in verse 1. Now the title here says, The Glorious Future, Israel's ultimate deliverance. So deliverance, speaking about the deliverance is going to come. So the glorious future. It says, Behold, a king shall reign in righteousness, speaking of Yahweh Shai, and princes shall rule in judgment, which will be the sons of the Most High. He, Yasha Allah, he is a prince of God. He is a son of God. And a man shall be in hiding place from the wind, and a covert from the tempest, as rivers of water in a dry place, as the shadow of a rock in a weary land. It says a man is going to be that. The same thing we read in Isaiah 13 and 12. He will make a man more precious than fine gold. Speaking of an Israelite man, an elect man. Verse 3, And the eyes of them that see shall not be dim, and the ears of them that hear shall hearken. So it's telling you more and more that the believers are going to wake up, because the Most High is going to actually open their ears and their minds, their hearts to the truth. The heart also of the rash shall understand knowledge. So those that would not have the understanding or might be against it now, the truth, they're going to come to receiving this knowledge, all the elect. And the tongue of the stammerers shall be ready to speak plainly. Now, let's go down and get to the point. For sake of time, Isaiah 32 and 8. But the liberal deviseth liberal things. So a lot of the people here today, here in Babylon, in the society, in this misandrous and matriarchy and culture of feminism, well, a lot of them are liberal, meaning they're for what the society pushes, which at the forefront of that is our women, which they're the biggest ones to support, you know, the alphabet community, the alphabet letter community, the LGBTQIA, QRSTUV, all those people, they support them the most. They're there pushing that the most. So they're behind that. So this life that, you know, of fun and freedom and all of that, you know, the whole freaknik culture spirit, that's just multiplied into something that's way worse than what it was back in the 90s. They did a documentary on that. Well, it's way worse now, because now that culture has overtaken the majority of our women, the vast majority. So they're liberal. They stand for liberal things. Verse 9, Rise up, ye women that are at ease, and hear my voice, ye careless daughters. Give ear unto my speech. Those careless daughters, speaking about the Most High's people. Many days and years shall ye be troubled, ye careless women. For the vintage shall fail, and the gathering shall not come. So we're not going to go back to how it was before. 2020. That's not going to happen. 2019 on back. We've come to another time, for those that can see that and are actually watching what's going on and have the spiritual eyes to see and ears to hear. So we're not going back. We're only going forward. So what's going to happen coming forward? It says, many days and years shall you be troubled. So the vintage is going to fail. That's the lifestyle, the luxurious lifestyle. Using an example of Atlanta and a lot of those cities I was talking about earlier. How these women are there just living, living grand lives. Having big houses, driving around in luxury cars, the luxury clothes and bags and all that. Isaiah, the 3rd chapter, 16 on down, spoke about how the Most High was going to take that. Now, so the big time jobs, all of this, Section 8, EBT, child support, all of this stuff is about to go away. In fact, they're cutting it already. So continuing on, verse 11, Tremble ye women that are at ease, be troubled you careless ones, strip you and make you bare, and gird sackcloth upon your loins. You're supposed to be really in a state of mourning. It's better to be in a house of mourning than in a house of mirth. So our women really are supposed to be in a state of mourning. They're supposed to be serious about returning to the Most High, knowing what he's about to bring. So this message is only for those that can actually receive that, and the majority can't. So for you sisters that are believers, count that great in the sight of the Most High, that he thought enough to give you this understanding to protect you, because what we're seeing here on the screen is only going to get worse than anything that we've ever seen in history, right? For the world and for the nation of Israel, who's going to be most affected by these things that the Most High is bringing, these plagues upon the earth. But the water Yahweh should be able to shine for these plagues, because that is actually going to bring our deliverance out of Babylon the Great. I want to give all praises, infinite honor and glory to the God of heaven and earth, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. All praises be to the Most High God, Yahweh, and His Son Yahweh Shai. Honors be to the elect elders of the nation of Israel. Barakim La Habayath Madawadah. Blessings to the house of David, which are your brothers laboring on the four corners of the earth, in all truth and in sincerity, giving all diligence, making your calling of election sure, helping seal the elect of the nation of Israel for the return of our Lord Hamashiach Yahweh Shai is at hand. And to the Akim wa Agwath brothers and sisters that also listen and believe on the glorious gospel being preached, unto you I say Shalom, Shalom, and Barakatham.